Rebroadcast live? I mean, is this going to be available for others to
Yeah.
connect to?
So it's live streaming, and then it'll essentially be on our YouTube channel from the time we start. So,
Yeah, just.
Well, good morning, everyone. and welcome to Onward New River Valley's quarterly investor live stream event. We want to thank everyone for tuning in, whether you are enjoying your morning beverage at your home office or your place of business. We want to say thank you and welcome. Normally we would be having our annual dinner during this time, but we're coming to you live virtually via our YouTube channel. So going forward throughout the fiscal year, we will be broadcasting to you virtually. So unfortunately, we weren't able to have an in-person event this year. We know that these are unprecedented times during this pandemic, but we are happy to still be able to bring you quality programming live through our YouTube channel. So thank you again for tuning in, and we look forward to continuing to bring you quality programming through our live streams on YouTube. My name is James Cavler. I'm the Director of Business Engagement. I'm joined with Charlie Jewell, our Executive Director. On behalf of Onward NRV, we'd like to recognize our Board of Directors, chaired by Scott Blankenship of Corellia New River Valley Medical Center. So we wanted to thank all of our Board of Directors. We have 32 for their dedication and hard work. They continue to support us and help move our region onward. So thank you all. We also cannot be doing these types of events without our investors. So we want to recognize our chairman level investors. We have Montgomery County, Pulaski County, Virginia Tech, and Corellia New River Valley Medical Centers. So thank you to our chairman level investors. We also have our president level investors. We have Giles County, the city of Bradford. We have Floyd County. We have BAE Systems. We also have Branch Builds, Block 1, and Celanese, Lewis Gale Hospital, Montgomery. So we wanted to thank all of our investors that help make these programming possible, because without you all and your investment and your support, we would not be able to put on these quality programs. So thank you for investing in our mission. We truly appreciate each and one of our over 100 businesses that invest in our organization. We do want to do a special thank you to our event sponsor, which is Orange Bandana All Occasion Gifts. Nancy Creed is the owner of Orange Bandana, and she has got a special message for you all to be able to give gifts during this holiday season, during this time of physical distancing. So here's a message from Nancy.
Hello, my name is Nancy Creed, and I'm the owner of the Orange Bandana All Occasion Gift Services located here in the New River Valley. And I'd like to thank Onward New River Valley for inviting me to be a sponsor today. Over the next few minutes, I'd like to tell you a little bit about who I am and a little bit about my company. First of all, I'm a certified gift designer with the National Gift Basket Association. I've been in business since 2015, and I do work out of my home in Christiansburg. With the help of my part-time staff and very dedicated husband, I believe we'll reach our $500,000 in sales at the close of this holiday season. So it's a very exciting time for us. I try to use as many local products as I can, and right now I have over 36 local products on my shelf. I'm very excited about that because not only are they helping me to present a great gift to the community, I feel like I'm doing my part in helping the local economy as well. Most of my business here in the New River Valley is done with corporations, where I've designed specialty boxes and products that represent that company exclusively. As a matter of fact, I see myself as an extension of the company's marketing plans. I currently offer over 367 gifts on my website, theorangebandana.com. So if you've ever heard of the gift sites called Harry and David, or Wine Country USA, or gifttree.com, I'm just like them. However, I'm not like them because what I do are custom personalized gifts. All my inventory is fresh, all my gifts are hand assembled, and I know when they leave my place that they are perfectly put together. The bows are stunning and the delivery is flawless. That's why I want to work with you.
We'd like to thank Nancy Creed and Orange Bandana Specialty Gifts for again being the sponsor of our quarterly live stream. Nancy does an amazing job and does our gifts that we give to our presenters and speakers. So thank you. And now I'm going to turn over to Charlie Jewell, who will give an update.
Well, good morning, everybody. As James mentioned, normally in September, we're gearing up for the annual dinner. And, last year, as I reflect back, we had over 160 people show up. That was a record for us for the annual dinner. And it was just a great time to be able to see everybody and to celebrate the work of Onward and really the accomplishments of our region. With the pandemic, of course, there have been quite a few curveballs thrown at everybody. So just as with you, we're adapting as well. So I hope that as we go through our live streams until the end of the pandemic, we hope that you all will continue to join these because it's really our way to be able to communicate to you the value of what we're doing behind the scenes with your investment. So we hope that you'll continue to join these even though we're not in person. One of the things that we normally do during the annual dinner, which we started last year, was our annual Regional Impact Awards. And we started doing those a year ago through the 5-year strategic plan to recognize and really celebrate companies that are making significant investments in their companies through adding new equipment or adding new space to adding new jobs. So this year we wanted to look back over the past year and recognize the companies that have announced expansions over the last year. But before we announce those award winners, we wanted to tell you a little bit about the impact that the companies that you're about to hear from are going to have on the New River Valley through these expansions. So over the last year, when we looked back, there were 4 companies that made investments in jobs and their facilities. And of those 4, this kind of shows a ripple effect of how those jobs are going to ripple through our regional economy. So those 4 companies announced 418 new jobs that are estimated to add $39 million annually to their payrolls. So that $39 million is projected to essentially stimulate through consumer spending, restaurants, retail, housing, expenditures like that, and the amount of $18 million a year going forward once all those jobs are created. That will then support another 281 jobs being created through those tertiary or indirect industries. So as you can see, these companies that we're about to share with you, our 2020 Regional Impact Award winners, are going to have a major impact on our region through these projects. So without further ado, let's get to introducing you to the 2020 award winners. First off, Torque Robotics, which just announced earlier this month a 350 job, $8.5 million expansion here in Montgomery County. They're actually going to be expanding here into the Virginia Tech Corporate Research Center where we are today. And this is them accepting their award this year. Next, we have Modea. They announced back just 2 months ago 20 new jobs and $100,000 new investment here in Montgomery County. And we actually have a video from them accepting their award.
Hi, my name is Christopher Rieger. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Modea, and I am really grateful for the recognition that we've been given with this Regional Impact Award from Onward New River Valley, and I gratefully accept this honor on behalf of every Modean. And I just want to tell you a little bit about us. Modea is a digital consultancy. We work exclusively in the healthcare industry, mostly with large healthcare providers, helping them with strategic consulting and designing and building digital tools and platforms for their customers and patients to help them find and access healthcare more easily. We think it's really important work. We always think it's really important work, but especially now where people are a little bit more hesitant to leave home, venture out, are concerned about putting themselves into doctors' offices and hospitals to get the care that they need. It's even more important to provide them digital tools and access to be able to meet with their healthcare providers and consult with them and receive services. And so that's the work that we do. We build mobile applications, we work in telehealth, we do enterprise website work. We help our clients study their customer data and just better understand how to meet their needs. And it's exciting work and we love it. And we do it here in Blacksburg, Virginia. Normally at our office on South Main Street. I am coming to you live from the second floor of my home in the north end of Blacksburg. But we've always been here in the New River Valley. We were founded in 2006 just because of this great town and the great quality of life here in this region. And we're continuing to grow here and hire here for those same reasons. We are really invested in this community. We found great talent here and found that we can not only hire people who are great at their craft, whether they be software engineers or project managers or designers, what have you, but also find people who are just good communicators and really great human beings. And it's something that our clients value and something that we value as well. So again, thank you so much for this honor, and we're grateful, and I accept this award on behalf of everyone at Modia.
And next we have Bimmerworld, which announced last July, a year ago, 15 new jobs and $1.5 million of investment in Pulaski County.
Hi, I'm James Clay from Bimmerworld. We are located in Dublin, Virginia, and this year we are a proud recipient of the 2020 Regional Impact Award from Onward New River Valley. We have been in the New River Valley for over 20 years now, and we've grown our business, Bimmerworld, from this location to be North America's leading provider for BMW parts, performance, and accessories. And of course, we run a very successful BMW racing team from the Dublin location. We recently made another investment both in our company and in the New River Valley in the form of this warehouse that I'm currently standing in. We find that the New River Valley is a fantastic place to grow our business, to gain employees that are very capable and accomplished, and to really build our business for the future. And we're happy to take this next step and look forward to many more in the future in the New River Valley.
And next we have Patton Logistics, who announced earlier this year a 33-job relocation to the region and $12 million investment.
Hi, I'm Steve Patton from the Patton Logistics Group, and I'm standing in front of one of our newest Volvo trucks that was built in Pulaski County, Virginia. And I'm here today to say thank you. As you know, we are building a 250,000 square foot distribution center in Pulaski County. And we're very pleased that you selected us for the Regional Impact Award that I have in my hand. And so who is the Patton Logistics Group? Well, the Patton Logistics Group is three separate companies. First, we have an asset-based trucking company that operates these, Watsontown Trucking Company, and they operate about 400 rigs throughout the United States. Second, we have a warehousing company, Patton Warehousing, that manages about 2 million square feet. When the construction is done in Pulaski County of our 250,000 square feet, and the construction across the street from where I am in Pennsylvania now is complete, we will be managing about 2.4 million square feet of warehousing in the United States. We also have a logistics and freight brokerage company, Patton Logistics, that manages about 25,000 transactions a year for clients. So why did we pick the New River Valley? Well, first is we really have had a great track record with employees in New River Valley area. We currently employ about 100 people in the Roanoke, Dublin area, and we hope to double that workforce in the coming years. We've had a great history with them, and just a great dedicated group of individuals. Secondly is the interstate highway system. Interstate 81 is used by our fleet of trucks extensively, and the access to that in the Dublin area really is a benefit to us and the growth that we plan for our trucking company. Third is you've got great colleges and universities in that area. You have Bradford University and Virginia Tech, and we plan on using the resources that are available from them in the future as we expand out our company. And really, last but not least, is the Economic Development Group from the Pulaski County, led by Michael Solomon. They just were great to work with, and really, any hurdle that came up and any question we had, they were very responsive, and really, the reason that we, one of the main reasons that this project is underway and as quickly as it was, is because of Michael Solomon and team at the Economic Development Group. So we're very pleased, and again, we're happy with the Volvo trucks that were made there, and great partnership that we have with them. We're excited to be in for our future in Pulaski County. So thank you again. I look forward to working with you.
So I'm going to try to pipe in some crowd noise here and ask the folks here in the room to give these folks a big round of applause. So, yeah. So thank you to these companies for your contributions to the economic vitality of the New River Valley. Our region wouldn't be what it is without companies like this and the ones before them that have helped our region grow and stay relevant in today's economy. So thank you, and we look forward to the next year and see which companies will make the list next year. So as we transition into the regular update, I'm really excited to share with you a recap of the 2020 cohort for the NRV Experience Program. So this is a direct initiative that spun out of our 5-year economic development strategy, Onward 2023. So in year 2, we launched this, which was this past summer. And well, I'm not going to tell you a lot about it. I'd rather you hear it directly from the intern. So we're going to play this short video and hopefully you enjoy.
The NRV Experience is a 7-week-long summer curriculum designed to support employer internship programs by helping their interns grow professionally while also experiencing the full benefits of living and working in the New River Valley. Through weekly excursions, the interns receive professional development training while also experiencing fun activities to showcase all the New River Valley has to offer.
So I describe my experience as surprising. I feel like I grew into the group.
I thought it was a really well-run program. I feel spoiled by it, honestly, because I feel like most interns don't get this opportunity to explore the area they're in.
Going one afternoon a week, get watching the videos and learning professional development skills, and then just networking with other companies in the area.
I enjoyed the emotional intelligence video the most because I think it's something that a lot of people don't think about that plays into a professional setting. But I think it's really important to make sure your soft skills are as well developed as your technical skills. I think I enjoyed the one about communication the most because I think that it's like one of the most important things in a workplace to be able to communicate effectively and to work in teams together is you have to know how to communicate. My thoughts on the NRV are that there's lots of outdoors activities and hiking, and it's really peaceful. I was able to build a lot of relationships and also like have fun with all the events that were put on. I feel so lucky to have like had the chance to be in the NRV experience.
I feel like everything kind of came together really well. All the things I think I learned and from my internship as well also applies here, and I feel like a bunch of friends I made and just had a great summer overall.
I definitely would consider calling the NRV home one day because I think there's just a ton to do and the people are so welcoming. If outdoors are your thing, the NRV is definitely a good place to be.
So we were really excited to actually be able to do the NRVA experience this year, our first year. You know, the COVID pandemic certainly put a wrinkle in really wondering whether we were going to be able to do it or not. James Kabler with our office led the initiative, and before the pandemic had really done a really good job of going and engaging with employers around the region to get them to sign up for, or at least secure slots into the program for their summer interns. So pre-pandemic, we had 15 different companies that had requested 57 slots for interns for this coming summer. As we know, then the pandemic hit. We did a lot of questioning within our office to figure out whether we could still do it, because number one, we wanted it to be safe, a healthy environment. We didn't want to do a program and accidentally get people sick. So by the end of May, we had searched around, talked to some of the employers, and we still had 5 employers that were interested in enrolling their interns into the program. So ultimately, we had 17, which I think ended up being a much better number for this environment. It allowed us to practice social or physical distancing, not social, because they were certainly social events, but we were able to practice good physical distancing and all the other wearing masks and other positive guidelines from our local public health task force. But so this summer's cohort had 17 interns in it. And as the video talked about, and this is one of the misconceptions that we've struggled a little bit with, is that sometimes people think that we're offering the internships, or the internships are through Onward New River Valley. And ultimately, the program is there. They're not through us, but the program is designed to support existing employers and their internship programs within the region. And it supports them by doing 2 things, essentially. One is doing weekly excursions to all of the communities in the New River Valley so that they can better understand what life is like here after graduation. All too often, we hear students that go to Virginia Tech, to Radford, that aren't from here, that go to school here, and they never make it outside of their university campus or immediate community. So they leave here thinking we're a great place to go to school, but they never get the story of what it would be like to live here and work here. So the program itself had the excursions built into it. And then also the employers asked us to do some professional development training. So we partnered with Acceleration to do weekly videos on different topics that would help the interns grow professionally. So the whole reason behind initiating this program was through some data, some research that we had done a couple of years ago. You may have remembered the brain drain study that we did through Go Virginia. And one of the key stats that we found out of that was when we surveyed Virginia Tech students, at that time, only 5% of them were considering looking for a job in the New River Valley post-graduation. And then when we looked at Radford University, only 18%, it was better, but only 18% said that they would consider, or that they were considering looking for a job in the New River Valley post-graduation. So we think that those numbers are low. The other stat that was interesting from the brain drain study that this program is really designed to tackle is when we surveyed students at that time, we ranked, we had them rank different community attributes that they would look for in a community that they wanted to, live after graduation. And their number one attribute was employment opportunities. So unfortunately, we ranked, or they ranked us either 8th or 12th. We were in a 4-way tie, but the New River Valley ranked 8th or 12th on that list by them. So we know that there are jobs here. We just think there's a mismatch of being able to link up the students with the employment opportunities here. So by partnering with employers in the regions, we're hoping to be able to grow this program more, because what we found this year with the program was that it was successful in helping to improve that statistic that I gave you earlier about would you consider living in the New River Valley post-graduation. So this graph, we surveyed the students pre the program or at the very beginning before we started doing any of the excursions or meetups. And essentially we asked them that question, and it was 50-50 as to whether the interns would consider living here or maybe consider living here. So by the end of the program, we surveyed them again, and you can see over here, we still had no, nobody said that they wouldn't consider living here, but the number of yeses went up to 69%. So we were really excited to see that number move. And we wished for sure that COVID wouldn't have hit this year and that we would have had 57 interns to be able to have swayed to at least consider living and working in the New River Valley. But very excited. Definitely want to brag on James. He did a terrific job this year heading that up. With it being a first-year program, that's challenging enough. But then when you throw a pandemic on top of it, that, as we all know, that adds another layer of complexity. So we're looking to build on this again for next year. Stay tuned. We'll start engaging with employers again this December with some information sessions to talk about the program next year and going ahead and getting companies to secure their slots. So thanks again for your support, because again, your investment makes these programs possible. And without you as an investor, we would not be able to do the work that we do. The other thing that I wanted to just get on your radar, which hopefully it's already on your radar because we released it a couple of weeks ago, but we launched our NRV Outdoors video, Find Your Escape. And this video was really designed to reinforce the New River Valley's brand as being a great outdoor destination. So it aligned there. And then also, as we've seen some studies come out post-pandemic, the Harris Poll did a survey a couple months ago, and they actually surveyed people in urban areas and asked them if the pandemic had made them reevaluate or actually consider moving to a less densely populated area or even a rural area. So 43% of people in urban areas said that they were considering that at this time. So this summer, we thought that it would be a great time to lean in on the outdoors branding for the New River Valley by doing this video. And we launched it 2 weeks ago through a digital campaign that'll be running another 5 weeks, essentially, or 4.5 weeks. But so far, I wanted to report out, and when I say digital campaign, it's through social media. We're targeting cities, major metros within a 6-hour radius of the New River Valley. And this video alone has reached with a week and a half into a 6-week campaign, almost 120,000 people, and the video has been viewed 51,000 times. And we've had 1,000 people engage with it, like it, share it, which is always great for organic pushing of content. And then we've had 173 people actually click through to our outdoors website that we just launched as well. Simultaneously, while we launched this, we pulled our tech jobs video that we released earlier this year, Find Your Career. We pulled that video back out, and we're circulating that one in those markets as well. So you get a vibe between the outdoors and tech jobs. And one of the reasons why we focused on the tech jobs video right now, Find Your Career, is that over the last 2 years, there have been over 1,000 new tech jobs announced in the New River Valley, with Torque being the latest at 350 in 1901. Just under 2 years ago at 580. So we know that there are jobs here, and we want to, again, start building that image of the New River Valley as a tech hub. So we're currently in that, and I look forward to sharing the final results of that campaign On another note, we will be releasing our manufacturing jobs and NRV videos later this month. We had originally planned to release those in April, but the job market was not that great, as you can expect, and I'll show that a little bit later on a graph. But we're going to release those the same week as Manufacturing Day. And if you don't know anything about Manufacturing Day, it's a national celebration of manufacturing in the United States and different career opportunities. So we'll be doing a campaign there later this month to just showcase the types of jobs that are in manufacturing here, and again, to help bring exposure to the manufacturing industry, because we want to be a tech hub and we also want to be a hub for advanced manufacturing. So be on the lookout for that as well. And last but not least, I wanted to give folks an update just on the economic conditions in the New River Valley. Where do we stand now with the downturn due to COVID-19? So this chart shows February, which is pre-pandemic. That was the point that we essentially had not full employment, but total employment of 78,500. And then as you can see, as we progressed through March, when things started shutting down the last week of March, we started seeing a dip. And then April, we saw a significant dip. And then we bottomed out in terms of total jobs at 66,000 jobs in May. So the positive sign now is that it appears that we've hit the bottom in terms of job losses. And for at least June and July, and that's the most recent data that we have started adding jobs back that we had lost. So as of July, we were up to 71,600, but that still puts us 6,900 jobs fewer than we had in February, or 8.7% less. So while there's certainly positive signs here that the New River Valley is rebounding, there are still a lot of people here that have been impacted and continue to be impacted by this downturn due to job losses. So we'll continue to work with our partners to do everything that we can to support that and grow the economy further. But at least now we're seeing jobs being added, which is a great sign. And then lastly, the unemployment rate. So what has that done and how do we benchmark against the state and the nation? So right now we're at 6.9%. We peaked at about 11% back in May when we suffered the last significant job loss regionally. But before, back in February, our unemployment rate was 3.2, which was extremely low. So now we're at 6.9, which is still well above where we were in February. But when you compare us to the state and to the nation, Virginia is at 8%, and the U.S. is at 10.5%. So overall, we're still not where we were in February, but comparatively, we're doing as well as we could be expected right now. So, and with that, we will transition into the main portion of our program. And we're transitioning to kind of an interview style, and I'll invite Brett Malone up. But Brett Malone, the newly appointed president and CEO of the Virginia Tech Corporate Research Center, has over 20 years of executive experience in growing engineering, biotech, software businesses. Brett began his career at the CRC as president on July 1st. Brett is a triple Hokie, and I had to kind of wonder what was a triple Hokie there for a minute. But he earned his bachelor's degree, master's degree, and PhD from Virginia Tech. He learned firsthand what it's like building a company in the CRC when he co-founded Phoenix Integration in 1995. Although he has led multiple companies based around the world since then, Brett retained the connection to the NRV through a house built in 2005 on the New River in Giles County. So welcome, Brett.
Thanks, Charlie. It's great to be here, and it's great to be back home working in the New River Valley and taking the helm of the CRC.
Yeah, well, and I'll start off with, follow up your bio with, we had an opportunity to meet during the interview process. and with the finalist, where I was able to participate on a panel or a group with local economic developers and local governments. And I will say in the interview, I was really impressed with the energy that you really had during the interview process, and just your visions for the park, which I'm excited to talk with you about today. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's great to be here, and in terms of the vision of the park, my background. I came here in 1985. I came to Virginia Tech. I did my PhD in aerospace engineering, and then I came over to the Corporate Research Center in 1995 to start my first company, which was Phoenix. So, I've been in this environment for a while, and I've started and I've gone through every phase of this environment. So, it's an honor, a privilege, and I'm humbled to have the opportunity to move this forward.
Yeah. So, and I pulled the picture up here of the CRC, and some of our viewers may not know really what it is. And before I got into economic development, I'll have to tell you, I grew up here, and I would drive down 460 past it, multiple times a week or month. And until I got into economic development, I fully didn't understand what it was. I thought it was just part of the university, and there were some researchers, but what is it exactly?
So the Virginia Tech Corporate Research Center, we're really an engine. We're 36 buildings, 220 companies, and our primary mission, as it was launched in the 80s, was to provide an opportunity for Virginia Tech research to reach the marketplace by helping to grow businesses, helping to take the research out of the lab and put it into the marketplace. And so we've had some great success stories over the years. Since then, it's much more than that now, where we have integrated research facilities for private companies who establish themselves. We have incubator and co-working space. So we've really expanded the mission, but we stay true, and a major part of our business really remains that relationship with Virginia Tech and the ability to take those promising breakthroughs that we see in the lab and really get it into the marketplace. And that obviously creates opportunity for employment locally. It creates opportunity for students to stay here. I was thinking about what you were saying with some of the interns, and the CRC really creates a huge opportunity for students to come off of campus, come into their first technology company, and really get established in a great career.
Yeah, and that's a great kind of segue, because you were a student at Virginia Tech at one point. So can you talk a little bit about your background and how you ended up here in the New River Valley and here today?
Well, like I say, I came here in 1985, fell in love with the area, fell in love with campus, the whole vibe, as you say. And really, even then, it was palpable, the benefits you get from the work-life balance. So the technology, the research, the cutting edge level of academics that go on. But in addition, when it is time to sort of decompress, hit the mountains, hit the river, all of those great amenities are right there for you. And I still, to this day, I ran just right along the river this morning in Giles County, and that's an engine to sort of fulfill and sustain and re-energize people.
Yeah, and that's something with our branding for the New River Valley, that we've tried to tap into.
Yeah.
That work-life balance. We found that people really gravitate to a small town, but when it's really because it's paired with the universities here, and that's a unique blend where you can have a small town life where you have a short commute, low crime.
Yeah.
You're in a small town where other people, where you're socially connected.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's viewed as being kind of a negative, because it's like, particularly in the tech industry, where you're in a small town and you have to be to a major market. So that's something we've been working on. And I think that's part of your vision as well, being able to tell that story better.
Right. Absolutely. In fact, you can't go more than 5 or 10 minutes in Boulder, Colorado, which, I spent a lot of time working in Colorado. And, that is a major part of the story there. And coming back here and having come from here, it's very relatable. The work-life balance is part of growing technology companies in a lot of places, Boulder, obviously. And, when I look at the ingredients we have here, they line up very nicely. And I see, our vision really to integrate the park into all of the other local amenities. So, we want in the future for folks like yourself not to have to ask what goes on there. We want everyone to know, and we want to include the community. We want to become even more of a community asset and give back as well.
Yeah, and kind of on that vein, what are some of the community aspects that help the park? Because the park here, it's a real estate in Blacksburg that has buildings and people, but how does the CRC leverage the community outside and the region as a whole to be successful?
Well, our thing and what really makes the CRC work is the culture and the community. And so our community of research-oriented entrepreneurs, they're risk takers. We call them game changers. They're really pushing the edge. They're really trying to either disrupt an industry, bring a technology breakthrough to market. And so, we develop what we call space with purpose. And so we have labs, we have testing facilities, we have the kind of facilities that can only be found in a handful of places around the world to really develop cutting edge technologies. All of that being said, there are things that we don't do. So there are amenities and there are experiences that we really count on the community to develop. So regionally, we count on that level of housing. We count on that level of community development, that level of sort of restaurant vibe. And we're working on plans to help integrate more of that into the CRC. So we have a very distinct mission, and we really keep ourselves purposeful with the kind of space and the labs that we develop. And at the same time, it's a partnership with the community.
That's great. This is a little bit longer of a question, but and you talked about it before. You spent a lot of time different places working for a variety of technology companies. But how is that experience? Can you talk a little bit about it? And then how has that helped you prepare to be the CEO and president of the CRC?
Sure. Well, I've been involved in 4 different startups of my own. I've been founder, CEO. I've raised money. I've really spent my career at this intersection of, emerging technology companies and helping those companies get a start, whether it's partnerships, funding, corporate development. And I've done some of this work in the coolest places. As I mentioned, I spent a career here in Virginia in the aerospace industry as running a software company. But then I really did a career shift and moved into biotech. And I used a lot of the software background that I knew. And as I got involved with other companies in the CRC, the biotech industry was really taking off. And I got involved and, through my career, started to work in other cool areas like Denver, Colorado, and, as I mentioned, Boulder, and really develop some lifelong friendships, relationships that, helped establish that kind of growth and that kind of leadership opportunity. Since then, I also did a lot of work in different types of technologies. So it helps me become more relatable to the types of tenants we have here, whether they're a software company, a Torque Robotics, whether they're a biotech company, a CellInc, for example. All of these companies I feel like I can relate to because I've seen a diverse set of technologies. One of the coolest places I got a chance to work at was a company called Freenome in South San Francisco. They were part of the Google Ventures campus, so Google Life Sciences campus. And when I think about experience for the CRC, and when I think about some of the regions that have it in spades, obviously, the facilities, the work culture, the work-life sort of amenities, as I've had a chance to work in those hubs, I've seen how others have done it in those research parks and those research hubs. So there's a lot of little things that I'm looking forward to bringing back home and implementing in the CRC.
And that's great. And, it's kind of an interesting time following someone that had been in the position. I mean, Joe Meredith, how long had he been with the park?
27 years.
27 years. So
And,
it's you're almost kind of like Justin Fuente, right? So you're following the legacy of someone.
It is. And I would definitely put Joe right up there with Frank Beamer in terms of, just the accomplishment that he has. I'm humbled just to be able to talk about 36 buildings, but Joe was here when there was virtually nothing. I did have a chance, as I mentioned, I came here in '95, and so I've known Joe for 25 years, and he's been a mentor, advisor throughout my career, and even to this day. So I have the utmost respect for what's been built here, and the entire CRC team. We have a great team of people that really understand what the vibe of the CRC is, and really help keep the mission aligned. And so what Joe did and what our entire team does today, they understand what the CRC DNA is, and they really build with that purpose in mind.
Yeah. So as you move forward, what are some of your initiatives or vision for the park that you would like to kind of build on?
Well, it starts with the culture and the community. So we continue to build and provide community opportunities. It moves into expanding the experience. The tech park of the 80s is not what the young entrepreneurs coming off of campus now are looking for. So we're looking at integrating amenities, integrating the experience, making this an always on place, always available for resources. Those are the things you see in other communities, San Francisco, Boulder. And so, my vision really is to create this as an always on community. And our development strategy is always about having space with purpose. So, we think about the cutting edge labs that we're building. My vision really is to have integrated amenities, food, and additional fitness opportunities integrated in with some of the most cutting edge biotech research lab buildings. You think about some of the testing facilities. You think again about what companies like Torque, and the kind of robotics and automation research that they're doing. So facilities that really make it possible to move those early research opportunities into the market.
Yeah, and with those, I guess, with entrepreneurs now, are there opportunities through Virginia Tech to help facilitate that into the park?
Absolutely. We connect with all of the regional assets that help the startups, whether it's obviously Link, License and Launch. What Brandy Salmon is doing is built a fantastic program, and that's almost an interface for us to be able to receive those startups that come out of the university and give them a home.
And can you talk, some folks may not be familiar with Link, but just kind of 50,000 foot level, what
Sure. It's really the integrated set of facilities that Virginia Tech has developed to include intellectual property, startup services, linking with industry, corporate partnerships. And so that's a great resource for us to stay connected and understand what are the opportunities coming out of the park or out of the campus.
Okay. Well, and as I alluded to earlier, we live in very different times with the pandemic. How has it impacted, or has it impacted companies in the park? And do you see, any opportunity coming out of the pandemic that may benefit just from the tech industry in general?
Yeah, what we're noticing is the companies that are back to work in the park are those that have those functional spaces. So, one of the things that's really shaping my vision is having the space with purpose, having the labs available. We continue to get demand for lab space, functional testing space. So we're trying to cater to the kind of space that these companies need. In addition, we're sitting in CoGrow. This is one of our opportunities to expand the park in a way where we have co-working space. And frankly, we're thinking about COVID in terms of safety, providing a safe tenant experience. And that means, thinking about designing the space to be more open, to be more flexible, and, obviously to be safe in terms of containment. So I think, over the long term, there'll continue to be companies that work from home. But we're building space that, we shouldn't be competing with the kitchen table and Zoom. What we're building is really space to give those researchers an opportunity to really develop.
And that's one of the trends that we're tracking is remote working, particularly in the tech sector. And some research that we've seen through our partners at the Virginia Economic Development Partnership has been, it was trending upward pre-pandemic, but certainly now it's accelerated that. And one of the things that we've been talking with them about is the importance of co-working spaces in that environment.
Yeah.
Because as you said, people are still human. They need social interaction and a place to be able to go. So we're extremely excited that you guys have made the investment here to position us in our region to have that opportunity. But
yeah, we're seeing a lot of demand for co-grow. We're seeing a lot of demand. Our membership is up. In fact, we continue to add new members who want to have flexible working space. And not all of them are startups. There's a lot of professionals in the area that are looking for a flexible working space. And we're actually expanding co-grow, adding more offices because of that demand. So we're seeing flexible single-use offices as an opportunity to serve that need. And then what we're also seeing are teams that are establishing their startup, but they're leveraging talent around the world now because of the virtual opportunity. So a lot of our companies are learning how to recruit and retain talent in a virtual sense. And that really expands their capabilities because we've got great, smart entrepreneurs. As we know, as we develop the talent in our region, we still need to add in management teams and add in the kind of talent that you might not be able to find here. So that actually gives us an advantage, I think, regionally.
Yeah, and can you kind of describe what co-working is exactly and how it works and what the benefits, why would somebody choose to do co-working?
Sure, we really just make it easy to get into the CRC. So it's a co-working space. We have several levels. One, you can pay for a membership to just have an unreserved desk, just a space. We have a beautiful kitchen, coffee facilities, access to meeting rooms. So a lot of those are amenities that people are looking for without the overhead of having their own dedicated office. We can move forward and the subscriptions or the memberships continue to grow, whether you want a dedicated desk or ultimately you want your own reserved office.
Gotcha. Well, that's pretty much all the scripted questions I have, but we did have a couple of people submit some questions online pre the live stream today, but also wanted to let folks know that if you are joining us right now from live stream, you can submit a question and through the comment box, and James will relay that over to us. But if you have any questions, make sure you type them in, and we'll go ahead and start with some of the questions that we had received yesterday. So from your perspective, what would you say the NRV's greatest assets and opportunities are to grow new and existing businesses?
Well, I'm biased, but I think the pipeline from Virginia Tech really creates a lot of opportunity. There's so much more that can be done, and I think Virginia Tech is becoming more entrepreneurial, and our region is learning how to foster and support those kind of companies. So talent retention is obviously huge. And so I think our region is really coming together, and we're seeing that with other programs in the Valley. We're seeing that with regions that are thinking about retention so that the graduates want to stay here. What you're doing with the internship is exactly what we need, and I think that's a huge asset. The other opportunity, which, as Virginia Tech expands in Northern Virginia, we're developing the tech talent pipeline. So the kind of graduates that we're going to have in the next 5-10 years in Blacksburg are going to be a result of that integrated, sort of tech talent, machine learning, AI programs, and the region is going to benefit from that kind of support. So,
and you bring up a good point that we didn't talk about earlier, but with the innovation campus at Virginia Tech in Northern Virginia, and the relationship with Amazon, is there any overlap with the CRC there?
Absolutely. The CRC is part of the Virginia Tech Foundation, and the innovation campus is really critical for us as a growth strategy because there's so many companies here that are technology oriented. But a lot of the customer base, the funding sources, or the potential partnerships are based in Northern Virginia. So we see the Innovation Campus as an opportunity to expand the CRC and actually create what we continue to call the space with purpose. So, our strategy would be to become part of the Innovation Campus, but make sure that it complements what we're doing in Blacksburg. And a great example of that is, you may not know, but the Virginia Tech, the research park has expanded into the Hampton Roads area. So we have what's called Tech Center. We have one research building full in a mixed use campus in Newport News. And that's actually a great model for us to understand how do we build the next generation of integrated facilities. And so we're excited to have launched into that area. And, again, we maintain connectivity between Blacksburg and Newport News. So it's not just an outpost, it's integrated. We build on the same mission, and it's complementary.
Okay. Another question we got was, can you speak to the role of CEO forums as a way for both emerging and growing companies to share best practices and focus on strategic growth? And I believe that was a question from someone in the park, actually, because you guys have those. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have several CEO forums. I think they're invaluable. Years ago, as part of the original Knowledge Works, I was part of the President's Club. And, I was a young entrepreneur getting lessons from people who had sort of been there, done that. Any great entrepreneurial region has that in its DNA to give back. And so the different councils that we do are imperative, and we need to continue to fund, develop, and recruit for those, because it's that level of community lesson, mentorship that really helps people get a running start. So I think they're invaluable, and it also has to be developed, I think, somewhat organically, because the community has to foster this sort of receiving the new entrepreneurs into the area, welcoming them, mentoring them, giving the lessons. And there are some companies will make it and some won't, but we need to have that network. So if someone decides to take a risk and start a company, if it doesn't work out, they're received back into the network. And I see that as very important. And we cultivate that to make sure that innovators feel like they have a chance to give a shot, but they have a place to come back to if their opportunity doesn't work. There's always another startup they could be working on.
Yeah, and as you're working or meeting the entrepreneurs in the park, what's the major industry sectors that you deal with?
Yeah, in the park, we have a pretty good mix. I would say it's obviously engineering oriented. So we have a lot of automation, aerospace, robotics type companies. We have a healthy segment of software companies, and we have a growing and healthy segment of biotech companies. And, as I think about how we cultivate the park, one of the exciting things I'm working on and with our staff is to establish advisory boards from the outside to come in and really help shape what directions we want to go, and how do we cultivate, for example, our biotech industry to really grow and complement what's happening in other areas. And so thinking about what our strengths are, and I see that as necessary to cultivate so we can be successful.
All right.
We do have two questions in the live stream that we have time for. The first question is, how well is CRC Phase 2 filling up? And when do you hope to start Phase 3?
Well, Phase 2 is about 30%. We actually have some new development that we're working on with Virginia Tech, building one of their engineering buildings. But in addition, we've got some great plans that we're sort of doing the master planning, thinking about what additional amenities can we put in Phase 2, if you will, that will round out the experience. So a lot of our work right now is going into expanding the experience to make it holistic, to make it sort of always on. And also, I believe there's an opportunity to develop in a way that creates a community asset. We have the Huckleberry that runs right through the CRC, and that's just such a great sort of connector of communities, connector of the region. And, I think that's really critical, that what we develop becomes integrated and can be an asset. As for Phase 3, there's a lot of planning going on. There's a lot of thoughts on how that would look, whether that's an in-town development, whether that's an extension. I would say stay tuned for that one. We're working on really getting Phase 2 designed and moving in the right direction. and stay tuned for the phase 3.
All right, and the final question is, would you be more interested in 200 more companies to fill up the park, or a handful of large companies that employ the same total number of employees?
You know, I hate to sort of waffle out of that question, but it's a little bit of both, honestly. You know, what we have seen and what I saw even back in the 90s, you know, for a long time, people in the 90s thought, well, we want to be the next RTP. And you just sort of take this cookie cutter model and say, we're going to do it this way. One of the things that I saw Joe Meredith do really well was cultivate what is our pipeline and what kind of companies can we support. So as much as I'd love to see, you know, all of the big guys coming in, I think our region supports more of a healthy mix. I see it as a balanced portfolio. You know, if you have all big companies, you know, you're a little bit risk heavy in terms of somebody pulling out. If you have all small companies, you might be at risk for not having that kind of impact or growth. So I look at it like a portfolio, and we are doing some really aggressive recruiting now for larger marquee partnerships. That's part of our vision. But we're looking at ways to engage with those big companies in new ways so that they can come get involved in the CRC. But, you know, the initial ask is not, hey, come build a building. You know, now we're talking about how do we get you involved, plugged in, so that you understand the whole experience. And then they begin to participate in what makes sense for them.
Well, that concludes our live stream today. We certainly appreciate you being here with us, Brett.
Thank you.
If there's anything we can ever do to support you, support the CRC, certainly let us know. We also would like to present you.
Wow, thank you. Okay.
With a handcrafted Newer Valley box. It's actually made in Floyd County.
Oh, beautiful.
Locally, and it's filled full of local treats from the Orange Bandana, our sponsor here today.
Lovely.
And we also included some NRV swag in there. So you got
Lovely.
a shirt,
Thank you.
a hat. So we'll be looking to make sure that you're repping the NRV when you're out running.
Listen,
outdoors.
as you know, I'm always posting the exciting runs or motorcycle rides or whatever I'm doing in the New River Valley. You know, the river, the trails. You know, it's just such a tremendous resource, and I'm proud to be part of it. And you know, this is really home. And thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you. And that concludes our fall live stream event. We hope that you'll join us in December for our next one. We'll send out details on that more closer once we get closer to the event. But hope everybody stays safe, and we'll catch you in a couple months, if not sooner. Thank you.